Hi, Demetra. I wanted to leave you some feedback on Essay 4, the critical analysis. Um, I think that you have some good points in this essay, particularly at the end when you start talking about the weaknesses of the argument. I think it's this paragraph. Baraksma might have difficulty persuading his readers in many ways. I wish that this idea actually came up much sooner because everything up until that point relies heavily on summary rather than analysis. And so in your opening paragraph you have a pretty good uh summary um of the article. I think that you capture the basic plot points along with the author's main point. Um, you mentioned later on in the text the audience, and so I think it's a good idea that instead of saying you here, that you specifically state who his audience is. So I think you said something to the effect of adolescents or high school students. His claim is that high school students should not underestimate the importance of hard work, or students should value, right? Something that indicates that he's really writing to students. The one thing that you're missing here, and why I think that you rely heavily on summary in the essay, is that we don't get your position on the article, and we really need that in your thesis, right? We really need you to move beyond what the author's goal is to making stating your position on the author's goal. So if you pay attention to what you're doing in these paragraphs here, for example, they rely heavily on Baraksma's evidence and summarizing his ideas as opposed to analyzing them, right? As opposed to making a claim about their effectiveness or how it impacts the audience. And so, like I said before, I think you have really good analytical points, but they come a little later. And so this might, well, I'll say it this way. This really would have made for a really good thesis. I wish it came up sooner and your body paragraphs were kind of balancing what Baraksma does and how those ideas kind of might fall flat for some readers, particularly the audience that you identified. So yeah, so really what you want to focus on in critical analysis is condensing that summary and making sure that with each of your body points you're making an analytical point, right? You're forming a position on the evidence that you've brought in. In terms of your works cited page, you need to make sure that you create a bibliographic entry. You don't just include the link. The bibliographic information was included at the bottom of the essay that I provided for you. So you need to include that as well. Then you center your title too. All right. Well, thank you.